man in WWE today. Because I see what you did here. You know you can't beat me one-on-one. So you added Eddie to make it a triple threat match.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest and
Acknowledge us.
Hey guys, we are back. Doubleheader today. We here to talk about WWE NXT Heritage Cup Tag Team Title #1 Contenders match. We're here to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Now, we talked about Raw earlier. Now we're talking about NXT. NXT that was on Christmas Eve before Christmas. So let's look over the match card. We'll look over that in a second. We'll talk about it. We're here live on Facebook and X. And we're going to talk about the events that happened on NXT. We'll go over the reviews, and then we'll finally talk about the bonus round. That bonus round will be about Obafemi. And we'll talk about what happens if he does not win the NXT Championship at New Year's Eve. So we're going to definitely discuss more about that. But with that being said, let's look over this match card. The match card here that was advertised, we got Stephanie Vaquer versus Cora Jade. We got a four-way Christmas Carol #1 contendership match for the tag team belts. We also have the NXT Heritage Cup match, Charlie Dempsey versus Lexis King. And then we have another women's tag team, women's match. I mean, we have another women's match for the night, and that will be Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, excuse me. They'll go against JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. So they're going to face off, and we're going to see how that goes. Let's talk about it, though, guys. Talk about it. All right. Let's get into that. Now, the first match we'll talk about, and immediately kicked off with Stephanie versus Cora. That's how it immediately kicked off. Kicked off with these two. Very good up-tempo. Stephanie kicked it off very good with a lot of fire. A lot of intensity in the match. She did do that. Cora Jade had her moments for offense, but mostly was her trying to stay on defense from Stephanie Vaquer. At least that's how I saw it. Also, Cora had her moments in the match too, where she also was going in on Stephanie. But Cora was running half the time, let's be honest here. She was running from Stephanie during the match, trying to get away from her, trying to avoid her at all costs that she was trying to do. That's the whole point that she was doing, let's be honest. Because the match was made because of the story of the backstage attack by Cora Jade last week when Julia and Roxanne had their confrontation. So we knew it was going to come wind all the way down to this. But I will say Cora looked good in defeat. She did look good. But Stephanie Vaquer came back with the defeat. and then she won, beat her 1-2-3. Then later on the match afterwards, Kalani Jordan came and attacked Cora Jade, and while she attacked her with the kendo stick, Stephanie tried to calm Kalani down, but to no avail. She did not do that at all. If anything, trying to call Kalani down upset her and pissed her off, ticked her off big time. And she had a confrontation backstage with Stephanie and Lola Vice. They tried to tell her, why you acting all wild like that? Calm down. And Kalani said, I ain't got to calm down. You guys don't calm down. We got stuff going on. Which Kalani had a point. She had a good point on that. I'm not going to say she was wrong. I just don't know what the characters they trying to do with Kalani now. Seem like they're trying to do something with her. I don't know what the whole deal is with Kalani Jordan in his newfound character. Because she's definitely not the nice, perky Kalani like she used to be. She's Kalani with a little more fire. So we'll see how that's going to go with Kalani. And we'll see where it's going to take her in the near future. I do know she has a match next week against Lola Vice. And it could ultimately lead to Kalani versus Stephanie Vaquer. That's what it seems like it's going anyway. But this was a good match. Good way to kick off NXT. These women did definitely showcase their talent. Well, let's move on to the next match of the show. All right, we have the NXT Heritage Cup, Lexis King versus Charlotte Dempsey. Now, before the match started, I know that Lexis King was approached by William Regal backstage while he was prepping for the match. And he was telling William Regal came to him again, just like he did before. He wanted me to be in your corner, just like he was 2 months ago when he faced off against Charlie Dempsey for the Heritage Cup, which he lost. And he lost. And he said he let Regal be in his corner again. But before the match started, we saw backstage Regal still had the brass knuckles. Now, throughout the whole Heritage Cup, it was 6 rounds. The way it works is 6 rounds. It's it's a little bit different than a regular championship match. People think because it's a cup, it's the same rules as a world championship or any championship match for that matter. That is not how that works at all. It's a whole different ball game when it comes to that. Because the NXT Heritage Cup really started on NXT UK. So the rules are a little bit different. But the way it works, I think it came to, I want to say 2023 last year. The way it works, that's how it works. Like I said, for those you don't know, that's how the Heritage Cup goes for that particular match. Like I said, a little bit different. It's not treated the same way as a title, a regular title would in a match. It's nothing like that at all. You get breaks in between. I know if it's a tie, the champ of the cup, they still keep their cup. So, matter of fact, while I talk about it, for those who don't know, I know Heritage Cup was a little bit new to me too, because I didn't at first, because I wasn't too familiar with it. I didn't watch NXT UK a whole lot. Caught it when I could. But this is how it went down. This is how the whole Heritage Cup works. So let's look at it. It's 6 3-minute rounds, 20-second breaks between rounds, 2 out of 3 falls. Falls could be scored by pinfall, submission, or countout. When a fall occurs, the round ends immediately. DQ or knockout ends the match. After 6 rounds, most falls wins. And right here, the champion retains if tied. So let's get back to the match that I was talking about. So this match here, they went out the whole time for the first, I want to say 5 rounds. There was no pinfalls, no submission, no counts, no anything. Turning point in the match is when William Regal gave Lexis King the brass knuckles again, just like he did before. Lexis King said no. William Regal slapped him on the shoulder there. He fell, and the brass knuckles fell out of his hand. Charlie picked it up. Ref saw it, and Charlie got hit with a DQ. Now, like the rules I just read to you a couple minutes ago, when it's a DQ, the match automatically ends. Meaning, since there was no since it was scored 0-0 before, that was the last round. The winner and new NXT Heritage Cup winner, Lexis King. He's your brand new Heritage Cup winner. Now, this is his first championship or any achievement he had on NXT. So this is very interesting. This is a big moment for Lexis King. Very big moment for him. So I would love to see what happens next with Lexis King. I know that he did not win this belt win the cup that way. I know he tried to do things the right way. He wanted to be ethical, but there's no way he could. You can't be ethical when you have William Regal in your corner. I'm sorry. There's no way you can be ethical with that. It's not going to happen at all. You're not going to be ethical with that. Forget about it. But despite the fact he still won the Heritage Cup, whether he got help from Regal or not, he still got it. He's your winner. He's your new cup winner. Simple as that. That's it. Plain and simple. So congratulations to Lexis King. I wonder how he's going to approach this next week on NXT. Now that he won the cup that way, he talked a little bit about backstage, but he kind of wants to avoid it. He wants to enjoy his victory in his brand new cup. So congrats to him. Next match on the card we'll talk about Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus JCJ and Jasmine X of Fatal Influence. This match was it was okay. It was good at first. It's like near the end, it started getting real sloppy. Soon as we saw these teams coming out and it caused a distraction, King Carter Katana Chance, the Fatal Influence member in North American Women's North American Champion Fallon. Then you have the whole, I don't know what to call them, the Cheesy Dolan, Shotzi, Tatum Paxley. It got sloppy. Still was good. It ended with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire winning their return match to NXT. But it was a good way to showcase the women's tag team division, because remember, the NXT got the best women on the roster. Also, the women's tag team championships could be defended on any roster, not just Raw, SmackDown, NXT too. So they have to be on NXT for that. Gotta get credit where credit's due. But all 14 still look like they're legitimate tag team contenders. But unless they maybe plan on bringing the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships back, they could do that too, but I don't think they're going to do that. They might end up bringing those belts back, because we have a lot of women's tag teams that's coming to NXT. So, or they just challenge for Bianca Belair and Naomi for the belts. There was a lot of tag teams on there. We saw Fatal Influence people, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. We saw the Katana Chance of Kaden Carter. We saw them too. And then we saw the Metaphor Girls, which is Lash Legends, Carl Jackson. So it may be in the question, should they bring those belts back? I'm talking about the NXT Women's Tag Team belts back. Could be in the question for that. Could be. So we have to wait and see what happens next. Definitely have to wait and see. But we'll keep posted on that one. See what happens next. All right, so that was the end of that match. Another match we had was Dion Lennox versus Shotzi Adonis. This match seemed like these guys didn't want to fight each other at first. But I guess Shotzi slapped Dion. Dion kept it going. He tried to get in there. Nikita Lyons got involved, caused a distraction, helping out Dion. Anyway, at one point Dion had Adonis, but Nikita put his foot on the bottom rope, saving him from losing. And then he got a roll-up in, hold on to the rope, and he was immediately congratulated by Nikita Lyons. And I know Carmen Petrovic was not on this episode. I heard she has the flu, but still shows what's going to happen next. This little love triangle between Shanti, Nikita, and Carmen. But Shanti got the win. And let's get to the next match, which is probably the main event match. This is a Christmas Chaos 4-way match. Now, we had many teams competing in this match. We had the teams of OTM out the mud of Bronco, Nima, and Lucien Bryce. Miles Bourne, Tavian Heights from Milk's Quarter Crew, Hank and Tank, and Channing Stacks and Luca Crucinifo. So Channing Stacks and all that, but other than that, it was these guys could use any weapons they want. It was a tornado tag team, and it showed these guys using all the weapons in the world, kendo sticks, anything. I mean, we see it right here. Stacks and Lucien and Gustavo, he had these guys held up with candy canes, everything. Third point in the match was Santa Claus came out and he laid out Tony D. He ended up being Ridge Holland. So more likely Ridge is going to challenge for the NXT North American Championship. But the distraction was good for OTM guys. Nima and Bryce, they laid out Lorenzo, scored the Shannon Stacks, and they scored the victory. And I will say Hank and Take, they have grown on me. Hank and Take weren't all that good at first, but when I watched on NXT Level Up a few times, they started to become a real good tag team. Nima and Bryce definitely has what it takes to defeat the team of Fraxium, which is Nathan Frazier and Axiom. So do not sleep on them boys. And I like one part in the part when Cruz Fino took a pay. He did that bowling ball to low blow Hank Walker. That was a good part too. But anyway, this was a very good match. I like this match a lot. A lot of good moments, a lot of good spots. Very good way to showcase how much talent they have for the NXT Tag Team division. And it shows that that there are many teams that can compete for the Tag Team Championships. And there are people waiting in line to become the NXT Tag Team Champions. So definitely a lot of teams there, but definitely good of what they're doing. Other than that, though, before we get to the final before we get to the final segment of the show, let's get to a few other moments in the show that were highlighted. So we're going to get to 2 segments. Well, more like vignette. First, we'll get to Ethan Page. Ethan Page had a segment, and he talked about how he was going to go, how that Javon Evans brought back to Ethan Page. Ethan Page that was down, Ethan Page that thought he was done. Javon Evans changed all of that. And Ethan Page repays him by attacking him, putting a chair over his neck, made him bleed, and caused blood out of all of there. And he basically said that, when it comes down to it, I may have lost my smile, but I'm going to take your smile, which he did. Definitely took his smile by any means. Anyway, when he did do that, he took his smile. He definitely shut down any talk of he had no remorse for what he did. Don't feel sorry for what he did. And if you ask me, he probably would do it again if he had to. So you get old Ethan Page back. I want to see how I wonder how things are going to end out for Javon Evans when he responds to this. I would love to see how this is going to go. Well, I would love to see how that's going to move. How can Ethan Page continue to try to move the needle best way possible? Other than that, though, I don't know. Just Ethan Page definitely he making his noise though. Definitely make some noise. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. Definitely can't wait to see. I don't expect Javon Evans to retaliate at some point. We don't know when he's gonna come back. He's gonna retaliate against Ethan Page for what he did. But Ethan Page, he's on a roll right now. He's on a roll. I'll give him that. He's definitely on a roll. So we'll see the next move going to be. Other than that, that's all I see right now as far as that goes with Ethan Page. But very good segment. Very well out promo last week, like I said before. Page right out Shawn Michaels playbook. I lost my smile, but I'm going to take yours. Very, very good. But we're going to see. Working real good. Another segment they had played, Roxanne Perez. Now, Roxanne Perez, she cut a vignette. She talked about how she's been NXT Women's Champion for pretty much majority of this year. I like the part she said that most girls at her age of 23 don't even know what they want to do in their life yet. And she had it figured out. She had it figured out. And then she also said too that no matter who comes around, can't nobody beat the Prodigy. And she got a point. She's held on to the belt for, I want to say, 8 months now. Good 8 months. And she made her, every time she called a shot, it worked. It worked very well. I mean, she ain't got to defend the belt no more until NXT New Year's Evil. Well, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. That's with Roxanne. But she definitely going to do her thing. And Roxanne's been on a great run. Great run. Well, than that though, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next with Roxanne as she heads into this match. But she's definitely going to do her best to defend the women's NXT Championship. Definitely do her best by doing that. But Roxanne, she definitely was on one. She definitely was on one. Everything she said was correct in the promo, and Roxanne, she reminds me of an AJ Lee. Her mannerisms, everything she reminds me of AJ Lee, and I think that's why I like Roxanne, because I liked AJ. And for the older fans out there, if you liked AJ Lee back in the day, how she used to hold it down with the Divas Championship and her promos and segments, Roxanne Perez is literally AJ Lee Jr. She acts just like AJ. Now AJ is a little stronger on her promos than Roxanne, but nonetheless, overall character, AJ Lee is reincarnated into Roxanne Perez. She's Roxanne Perez is a reincarnation of AJ Lee. She literally is, if you really think about the character. So since she is, I think it's a great moment. But yeah, she definitely had a good segment going in. Definitely had a good segment going into the show. Other than that, though, I would love to see what's going to happen next with Roxanne Perez as she heads in to the whole NXT New Year's Evil. Because there's a chance that Julia still can beat her. Because Julia is not going to lose twice against this woman here. I don't see her losing twice. We're going to wait and see what happens next for Roxanne Perez. But definitely a good one. Rulion's good red salute. So we're going to see what's going on. Roxanne, on that, good thing. All right, let's get into the final segment of the show. And that is, yes, we are talking about the NXT Championship picture expands. Now, Trick comes out, then Obafemi comes out, and then we get Eddie Thorpe come out. Then what happens next is Eddie Thorpe tries to tell Obafemi, you gotta wait, and blah blah blah. And Oba said, I'm not waiting for anything. And then Trick said, we'll make it a triple threat. And because Trick told Oba and Eddie to shut up. He told Eddie, I'm tired you talking about the past. He said, and Oba, I'm tired you talking about the future. Let's talk about now. But Trick took it upon himself. He want to handle both Oba and Eddie Thorpe, just showing how much of a fight champion that he is. He is going to go ahead and fight them both at the same time in a triple threat match in New Year's Evil. So that's what he's going to do. And it's definitely known, like Trick said, it's not going to work in his favor. Normally, babyfaces don't shoot for a triple threat. They just let them, the authority figure do it. But that's not how they're going to do things this time. But we'll see what happens next. But I would love to see what's going to happen next for the NXT New Year's Evil. We'll see how it's going to go down. but it's definitely going to be a wild one. I will say that for a triple threat. Now I know one thing that Oba said. He called out Trick on what he said, on what he did. Let's see what he had to say.
Man in WWE today, because I see what you did here. You know you can't beat me one-on-one, so you added Eddie to make it a triple threat match.
Was Oba on point when he said that? Did he have a good point when he said that? Could be. With WWE both Julian damage control. I hope not. I hope not. But yeah, he had a good point. Is really Trick Williams scared to face Oba Femi one-on-one? Is he?
Yeet.
Could be. Could Oba be onto something here when he said that? Maybe he is afraid to fight him one-on-one. Can make perfect sense why he would not want to fight him one-on-one. Just saying. Could very well be the reason why. Because now what started off as a singles match, now it's going to be a triple threat. It's going to be a triple threat match now. So we gotta definitely see how that's going to go. And this is definitely going to be very interesting to see how this is going to be booked. So now we got a whole different match set up. All three of these men are going to fight each other at NXT New Year's Evil in a triple threat match. And Trick knows that the chances of him keeping the title are very slim. Maybe a 33 in the third. Shout out to Scott Steiner. Could very well be the case. But it does not look good for him. Don't look good at all. But we'll see if the next thing's going to happen for Trick Williams to defend his title. But it's definitely not a good look. Not by any means. But other than that, though, this was the final afterwards. These all three of these guys attacked each other. Eddie started attacking Oba. Then Trick attacked Eddie. Then Oba attacked both of them. He dominated both of them, literally powerbombed Trick, and he powerbombed Eddie. And he stood tall, holding the NXT Championship in his hand. So this man's definitely have what it takes to take to the next level. So he's definitely one not to sleep on. But I'm definitely let's see what next move going to be for Oba. Definitely let's see what's going to happen next. So Oba Femi, he's not one to be messed with. Definitely not one to be messed with, though. But he will be fighting Trick Williams for that championship. But that's all I have for that. This was the end of NXT. Let's go over the ratings of the show. Now we had the show start off with Stephanie versus Cora. The last match was the Christmas Carol 4-way, Christmas Chaos 4-way, and it was Trick, Eddie, and Oba. But I give this show a 4 out of 5. NXT always brings it. Yeah, even though the stuff's recorded, they didn't do that crap like Raw and SmackDown, dude. They still put on a good premiere show. So I give them credit for that. Very much credit for that. Well deservedly too. But other than that though, I would love to see what the next move gonna be for next week's show. Because they are getting headed for NXT Year's Evil. And that's actually 2 days. Yeah, they're January, I think they're January, I want to say 7th, the day after the Netflix debut on Raw. So that'll be a big week. You got Raw Netflix debut, then you have NXT Year's Evil the day after. Definitely gonna be something to talk about. Definitely gonna talk about it and talk about it. Talk about it. Well, we gonna talk about Oba, and we're gonna see what happens next in New Year's Evil and see how it's gonna go. But other than that, that's all I have for that. As far as that show goes. Now, what you guys can do too, while we're at it, we are quickly going to you want to see what people rated on the show. People did get ratings on the show now. They gave their opinions on it. Let's see what people had to say about the show so far. Let's see what their ratings were. Let's see real quick. Let's see. So this is what people had to say about NXT. All right, 74% gave it an A. 15% gave it a B. 5% gave it a C, and 5% gave it a D or F. So that's the rating they have on NXT. But other than that, though, like it's going well. Other than that, let's go over a few things in a minute. Like I said, it was a very solid NXT. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do next on the show. They never really put on too many bad shows unless they just had a PLE or upcoming PLE. That's normally how it goes with NXT. Normally how it goes for the most part. But they always try to shine and do the best thing possible for that brand. As they should, though. As they should. But I like what they're doing over here. NXT continues to build every single week. They always try to build. They never feel disappointed when it comes to building. Always about building and growing and everything. That's one thing they have not stopped doing. But like I said, I enjoy what they're doing, and it's working out fine. Very fine for what they're doing for that brand. But we gotta see what's going to happen next for NXT. So, that being said, we're going to see what's going on. And we're going to see how it's going to get there. But definitely a good, solid show. I just wish I really hope they continue to keep the shows like that. Don't stay away from them kind of shows. And don't start putting out junk like some other programs do. Especially when it's taped. That's the only thing I would like to see NXT to continue to do, if that makes sense. Well, I think they do that, they'll be just fine. It's not going to be a problem at all as long as they keep at that level. They do that, it won't be a problem. They'll keep everything good. It will work out just fine if they keep it just like that. But we'll see what happens next. But as long as they do that, it won't be an issue. But we're going to get into what went wrong with NXT in a second. We're going to get to that in a second and see what happened with the show, what could have been done better. We're going to definitely talk about that. And we'll talk about what went right with NXT as well. Because we know there's some things they could have done right or should have done right, I should say. We're going to definitely get into that in a second. And then we'll get into a bonus round. And maybe some current news. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into that. Let's get to that part of the show. And let's see what the next move is going to be for NXT for that matter. Let's get into that. All right. So with that being said, like I said, despite the rating that I give this show, it's always room for improvement, no matter what the case may be. It could be anything. It could be improvement on a small minor thing, or it could be a big major thing. It don't even matter. But either way, it could come down to that. But definitely, I saw some mistakes there with NXT this week. So let's talk about it now. All right. So let's go over what went wrong with NXT, like I said before. And we'll go over what went wrong with the show. What could have been done better as far as the show goes. All right, the first thing I noticed on the show here, does Cora Jade ever win a match? I know sometimes looking good means losing in defeat and you shine. I get that. But she been losing like majority of her matches since she came back to NXT. I rarely see her win a match. Just period. She may have won one or two matches. And I believe they're all from distractions. She does not win her matches like that. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see her winning matches that much. But I would like to see Cora Jade win every now and again, if that's not a problem. Because she always just seems to never get it right. But that's just me on that. And you guys already know when I see something like this happen, you guys already know what happened.
You know what's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So yeah, I wish Cora would win more of her matches there. It don't have to be so much. She needs to win all the time. But at some point, let her win some point. And it'd be cool. But I would like to see what happens next with Cora's character. But yeah, she's always in a lose-lose situation. So and then she's been helping out Roxanne a little bit too. So maybe one day Cora gets her due, or maybe she don't. But that's one thing I saw wrong. Another thing I saw wrong too. I'm getting so tired of this too. And this happened in the Christmas Chaos 4-way match. Does every WWE show have to have a fake Santa? I mean, we just saw this on Raw with JD McDonough being a fake Santa, and Damian Priest sniffed him out quick, and he beat them up until Judgment Day jumped him. Then on NXT, we have Rich Holland being a fake Santa before he took out Tony D'Angelo. Come on, really? That's what we doing? I'm getting tired of this whole fake Santa. They do this every year. If you notice, WWE does this every year. They always got a fake Santa attacking somebody, end up being somebody in a wrestler in a suit. We see this all the time. Give it up, WWE. We don't have to do this every single time. Give it up for real. This is beyond annoying at this point. It just does nothing. Does nothing. Since it does nothing, you already know what happens.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So yeah, I didn't like that part of the show. Nothing I don't like about this particular episode, NXT. This right here. Oops, wrong one. The whole Ashanti, Carmen Petrovic, Nikia Lyons love storyline is getting ridiculous. It is getting ridiculous. I'm just getting tired of this nonsense. This whole storyline, this whole love triangle thing, it's not really going anywhere. First, him and Carmen got involved in each other in matches. Then he liked Carmen, and Carmen liked him back. But Carmen didn't pay him no attention till he saw with another girl. And she got mad. And when he did pay attention to Carmen, Carmen got angry. Like he tried to help Carmen out a couple weeks ago. Nikia Lyons hit her instead of hitting him. Nikia Lyons hit him instead of Carmen. He took the hit for Carmen, and Carmen defeated Nikia Lyons in a match. Carmen got mad, and then he went back to Nikia's like, it's just enough with it already. Enough with it already. I mean, I don't want to see this nonsense no more. I don't. And it don't make no sense here, and it just don't. And we already know what happens if it don't make no sense here. We already know what happens.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So yeah, I was not a big fan on this story. Thought did nothing. It's getting too much now. It's just like a little triangle that's all out of control. So I'm getting tired of that. Of how they're booking this whole thing as a whole. It don't serve no purpose, honestly. It's not really doing anything. I don't think it's doing anything. It's just not. It's not really pulling no weight around, pulling enough weight to, if that makes any sense, as far as the whole story goes. But we'll see what happens next. Like I said, Carmen wasn't on this episode. She went there, so we'll see how this whole thing's gonna go out. But some parts just like, really, it was just too much, way too much. And we'll see. I don't know how long they're gonna carry this on. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what goes on next. But I know that should be more told to the story. Definitely be more told to the story, and there definitely be some more going on. Definitely more going on as far as that goes. But we'll definitely see what's going to happen next. Like I said, this storyline could have went somewhere, but it didn't. It didn't really go anywhere. It really didn't. Thought it would, but it didn't. But we'll see what happens next. Like I said before, we'll see. We'll see how it goes with this whole thing. Because I don't. This is one of the stories that you can't get behind anymore. I don't see it happening. You get kind of annoyed with it at the same time. That makes sense. It's just too much. But that's one thing. Another thing I saw. I have another thing that I had an issue with too on NXT. And it's I know a lot of people already don't like her promos, but I think this new character can help her, maybe bring out her better skills. But I still see it being a problem for now. And what I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about actually Kalani Jordan. She's a more fiery character, but I'm not buying into it just yet. Now she got mad that Stephanie pulled her off of Cora Jade after attacking her after the match was over. Kalani has some good points. She said, Stephanie, you had your match against Cora, you defeat her, you won. Now it's my turn. And then Stephanie said, I'm just trying to help you. And Lola came in saying, well, what's going on? You need to calm down. And Kalani told Lola, I'm not going to calm down. You know, all the times you interfered in Jada Parker's matches, it was fine. You did. She said, well, Jada started it. She said, you both started it. Kind of both did. And she kind of got a good point there, too. But Kalani, I feel like her promo, something's missing with her character. She has all the in-ring skill. Something on her promos off. Or maybe Kalani can't just be brought into as a heel because she's like a nice, genuine, sweet person in real life. Maybe it's hard to buy into her heel character. I still don't like what they're doing. And you know what happens when I see that happen.
You know what's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So maybe that's why her character is not like that, because it's hard to buy into, because she's a nice person in real life. She don't seem like a person like her will come off as a heel. She doesn't seem like that in real life. But I still see it being an issue. But those are things I saw wrong with NXT. So we went over to what went wrong with NXT. However, we're going to do something. We're going to go switch gears. We're going to move into what went right with NXT this time. So let's talk about it. Now this time, like I said, new thing started last week. Now we're going to talk about what went right with NXT. We're going to talk about what were some good moves made on this episode of NXT. What things are in the right direction. And let's talk about that now. Believe it or not, the NXT title picture became a triple threat just so Eddie Thorpe can't take the pin from. He can take the pin. So Eddie Thorpe can take the pin from Trick or Oba. Neither Oba or Trick Williams is going to pin each other in NXT New Year's Evil in a triple threat match. Either way, it's going to be Eddie Thorpe taking the pinfall. It's not going to be Trick taking the pinfall. He's a champion. And it's not going to be Oba either. But this would be a good way to keep Oba strong and Trick strong. It won't hurt either person for that matter. It won't. I think it would be a good ordeal to keep it that way. Neither man they won't look like a weak contender or a weak champion. But Eddie Thorpe is simply thrown in for that. And I think it's a good call by WWE. And I got to give them their props.
Yeet.
So I see that being one of the things they did do right on this show. And to be honest with you, while we on the subject of the whole thing, I mean, we got to be honest here. The way I would see it. Now, they have the match at NXT New Year's Eve. That's good. That's real good to do that. Now, thing about it is, I will say this too. I believe that a match like this for NXT Stand Deliver, at least how I would do it. At least how I would do it. I think the best way to showcase this and to put this out, I would say that a good way of this, a good way for this PLE with Oba and Trick, I will say that you can't use this kind of match on a on an NXT New Year's Eve. I don't think it'll work if you do it that way. Now, if it was up to me, I would say the best possible way between both of these men, if you're gonna have to do it right, if it's gonna run right, I would say that you got to save this moment for Oba and Trick. Now, if you really want a blockbuster match out of both of these men, if you want a blockbuster match, the best way I would put it, in my opinion, if you're going to do this, you have to do it right. And if you're going to do this with both these men, you're going to have to do it at a higher level at this point. And it only makes sense to put it at a higher level. And what I mean is by that, when you put something like this at a higher level, it can't just be at NXT New Year's Eve. That's not a big enough stage for these guys. This is not a big stage. NXT New Year's Eve is not even a PLE. It's a TV special. So if you want Trick and Oba one-on-one, you got to save that for Stand and Deliver. That's the biggest event for NXT. That's their WrestleMania. Remember, Trick Williams had a big Stand Deliver this year against Carmelo Hayes. And also Oba had a big Stand Deliver in a triple threat for his North American Championship against Dijak and Josh Briggs. This would be the best way to do it. I would do it this way. So that's how you pull that off. I would not do that way. But that's a couple things I saw right this episode. I'll go to another thing. Yes, Lexis King won the Heritage Cup due to DQ of Brass Knuckles on Charlie Dempsey that got the DQ. It may lead back to a heel turn. He may revert back to a heel turn, slowly go back to a heel turn or be a tweener for now. Because now that he know he won a championship due to being non-ethical, he wants to be ethical, he may end up being a heel. And it may not be a bad idea for Lexis King. I don't know. That's my opinion on that. But I like the story with him and Regal. I like where that story's going. So, with that being said, I gotta give it a yeet for that.
Yeet.
So this is a very good one for that. I like this character's definitely moving. I think it's playing out fine. But I do like Lexus King. I do think he's talented in the ring. He got some talent in the ring. Of course, he needs some things he needs to work on. But other than that, I think the man's got it. Wants to get it all together. And I think it'll be just fine. But we got to have patience. They say greatness don't come that fast. But and he came from AEW, so that's explains a lot right there. A whole lot, actually. But we'll see what happens next with Lexus King, the brand new Heritage Cup winner. Because he is the champion. There's anybody can do anything to change that. Not a single person. May not have been the best way to win it, but he did win it. And that's how they're gonna run with it. But we'll see what happens next with Lexus King. And that's all I went over what went right with NXT. So that's the things that went over with the show. Actually went right for once. But other than that, you guys let me know what you thought was right or wrong, or not right or wrong. But we'll see what happens next on the show. Oh, also, before I do get into bonus round, before I get into other things, there was some matches announced for next week, and I'll talk about that right now. There's a couple things that they had set for next week. So let's talk about next week's matches, excuse me. So let's talk about that. We had NXT has a New Year End awards show, something like that. But also, these are the matches that's talked about. We have Kalani Jordan going 1-on-1 against Lola Vice at the NXT Year End Awards. So I guess Kalani got that frustration. She's going to take it out on Lola Vice. She's got a match against her. I talked about this earlier, and that's where it's going down to. That's where it's headed. I guess Kalani had enough. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this turns out. Don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But it will turn out to something pretty much. Definitely going to turn out to something after all. But it definitely will be interesting to see what's happening next. But this is going to be a good one. But I will say, it's like it's a good card for next week. And we'll see what else happens next for NXT next week's episode coming up. I would love to see how they're going to book this whole thing. But what we will do is go over some current news in a second. We'll talk about that. And we're going to talk about that right now. Just a quick current news, and then we'll get on to the bonus round. So let's get on to that real quick before we do get there. All right, so the current news here, we have CM Punk and Paul Heyman we'll talk about. So Paul Heyman did recently said in an interview, he credits CM Punk. And he said it like this. He said Paul Heyman credits CM Punk for his return to wrestling. Punk came on television and said, "That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy," because he was so high at the time. People start Googling. Thanks to him, a year later, I'm back on television with Brock Lesnar. Whoever thought that? Just he's talking about the CM Punk doing the pipe bomb. He did that in 2011. In 2012, he came the same year Brock Lesnar came back. He came back with Brock. So Paul Heyman saying this CM Punk's reason he got back. People want to hate on Punk all they want, but he actually got a lot of things moving as far as wrestling going. The needle was really moving with Punk going. So credit Paul Heyman for that. Credit CM Punk and CM Punk for that. Dev gave him a super chant for that one.
Yeet, delete, yes, we believe in Joe Hendry. Suck it. Woo! What? Yeah.
So he gives credit towards CM Punk for that. So that's for current news. With that being said, let's get to the bonus round. And we're going to talk about Oba Femi. So let's talk about that. And we'll get to that in a second. All right, we're here at the bonus round now. We're going to talk about what happens if Oba Femi loses at NXT New Year's Evil. The likes as we come in. And remember, we're talking about the match that's going to be at New Year's Evil. He's going to go against Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe one-on-one. Triple threat. Started as one-on-one. It's supposed to be him and Trick first, but it'll become a triple threat match. And we saw that these three guys already have animosity towards each other. We see that. And these guys are going to go at it. And they all want to be the NXT champion. And they'll do whatever they can to get that title at any given cost. So we'll see how that works out for all three of them. But other than that, though, I can't see what the next move going to be. But I know over Femi, he's not playing around. He's not playing around at all. Not one bit. He's not playing no games. And he wants his opportunity. And I can't blame him for that. But I know Oba Femi, he's tired of being he's tired of Eddie Thorpe getting his business. And he know that's standing his way to NXT Championship. And he feels like Trick Williams is in his way too, of trying to avoid a one-on-one match. But other than that, though, this is a very good setup that they have here. Very good setup with these men. So I can't wait to see how they're going to do this here. So, like I said, over Femi, he's not playing around no more. He's very irritated of how things have been going down lately. And he wants a title shot. And he knows that one for A Thorpe, it would be straight one-on-one. And that's how he's seeing it now. Because I remember A Thorpe told Oba you had to wait. And Oba had to look at him like, waiting for nothing. And I couldn't blame Oba for saying no, he's not going to wait. Why should he wait?
Settle. So your title match is going to have to wait.
Wait. Did you say wait? I'm done waiting. Because 2 weeks.
Yeah, Oba's done waiting. He wants his title opportunity. He wants it now. Other than that, though, the good thing about Triple Threat, like I mentioned earlier, in this match, Trick can still retain, and Oba doesn't have to be pinned. Eddie Thorpe will take the pinfall for the match and for the championship. It makes Oba look strong, or if Oba were to win. But if he were to lose, he still looks strong. I mean, look at this dude. He's a monster. I mean, this is him when he first got signed. He was in the Next Line program. Real name's Isaac Odubi-san, if I said that right. This man was in Alabama track and field. Alabama, he's from the South. This man's a beast. He's a monster. He already has great accolades. He's already the longest reigning NXT North American champion ever. As soon as he won that championship, Wesley already was doing a great job with that title. Oba family just brought to higher heights. He's raised a little bit more, but it could be a possibility that Oba does not walk out with the NXT championship. It could be, because Trick Williams is still popular. Whoop That Trick is still over. That song's still hot. So don't be surprised if that man still comes out on top. Now, the thing about it is, the question asks, will Oba family losing will slow down his momentum? Not necessarily. It doesn't have to slow down his momentum until he gets a rematch one-on-one against Trick Williams. If Trick were to retain, he don't get pinned. He could say, hey, you did retain your belt, but you never pinned me, and we never went against one-on-one. Eddie was pinned, not me. Can you really beat me one-on-one? And that's how he gets rematch. But until he gets the rematch, he gets momentum back by getting to a couple of feuds here and there where he is the more dominant one. He definitely dominates the other opponent. But the question is, when he does get his rematch against Trick Williams, the question is, will he have to wait long to get a rematch? Does he get a rematch right away? Does he get it later? How would the time frame work on that? Because if he loses to NXT or Evil, New Year's Eve was in January. Yeah, let's say Stand and Deliver event, the PLE, is only 3 months away from January. So he can get his rematch at Stand and Deliver PLE, which is the biggest show of the year at WrestleMania weekend. So maybe Oba gets his rematch then, and it'll be 3 months later. Or he gets it at NXT Vengeance Day, but that's not a big enough stage for Trick and Oba. They need a way bigger stage for that. And I believe Stand Deliver is the biggest stage and the perfect stage to do that kind of match. But I think that worked out just fine. I think that'll be the best scenario for that. But I do see Oba Femi a possibility of losing, because Trick Williams is still popular and they all about popularity. He's dominant, don't get me wrong, he's a monster. He tears anything that's coming his way. I think he'll tear Gunther apart and break him in two. Oba's definitely a different kind of breed, definitely unique, but it may not be time for him to win right now. May not be time right now, but only time will tell how that's going to go. So, but until then, Oba Femi, we got to think about what happens if he loses at NXT at New Year's Eve. And that's all I have regarding the whole bonus round of Obafemi. We talked about the NXT Heritage Cup match, tag team title #1 contenders match. We're talking about Obafemi here. Thank you all for coming out. Doubleheader today. Made up for not doing Raw NXT. You got all that. You got SmackDown coming up in a couple days. And I will put out the what went wrong with Raw and NXT. Check out the content of other videos to the channel. Till then, guys, you already know what it is. It is O-U-T.
Something happened this weekend, and I have been struggling with it since I retired. But this weekend gave me closure.
Wow.
It really did. Like, it was fun. Obviously, it was fun. I mean, you can't, doing this for as long as I have and being involved.